There's nothing quite like working for a boss who doesn't know how to lead. Maybe they're manipulative, crooked, evil, uncaring, or just incompetent. What do we do when we work for a boss like this? Keep watching, and I'll share with you a story from the Old Testament that shows us exactly what we can do when we work for a boss who really is a bad leader. Hi, my name is Shawn Sommerkamp, and this is Motivationeer Christian Coaching. I post 2 videos a week, so please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you can be reminded when I do. Please also consider becoming a member at Motivationeer.com. Your membership really supports this channel. Thank you. I'm referencing the story of Jacob. Yep, the father of the 12 tribes of Israel, during a period in his life when he worked for his uncle Laban. His manipulative, evil, uncaring, unkind uncle Laban. You can find the story of what it's like to work for such a terrible boss between Genesis chapters 29 through 31. I do recommend, if you don't mind, pausing this video and then reading Genesis 29 through 31 briefly. It's a quick read, it's a great story, and it'll help you understand the references I make in this video. This is a collective for those of us who've ever wondered how such a terrible leader can get stationed above us in the chain of command. The moral of the story is incredibly insightful, and the actions that it teaches us that we can take in our own career are not only exciting, they will also require a lot of bravery. The results, as you will see, are nothing short of divine. Without going very deep into the backstory, because it is a deep backstory, we're at the point right now where Jacob is already working for his uncle Laban and has been for probably about 14 years. He's got 2 wives, 2 of the daughters of his uncle, and a bunch of kids. And as the story shows, he's been working very hard for this entire period of time. And he expects to be treated fairly by his boss when he goes to his boss and gives his boss a 2-week notice because Jacob had decided it was time to leave. The only thing, however, Laban had grown very rich from Jacob's amazing managerial style, his amazing skill set, however you want to look at it, and he didn't want to let Jacob go. From the story, it's hard to tell if he outright refused to let him go. What's more likely is he probably manipulated Jacob into staying even longer. So Jacob stayed, and the story shows that Jacob became more and more dissatisfied with how wealthy Laban had become in relation to the amount of compensation that Laban was giving to him. He wasn't happy about it, and it says that he actually took a stand. He went and confronted his uncle about this. In fact, he did it in a very disagreeable way. He told him outright, "It's the Lord that increased your wealth. But he did it through me. Before I came here, you had very little. Now, because of my skill, you have a whole lot." So he gave God the credit, but also stated the obvious. You know I'm worth a lot to you. Special note here real quick, we can't just sit back and expect God to reward us if we're not really working hard. It's good to understand and know that the increase does come from God, but he uses our efforts to bring it about. So at this point, in order for Jacob to get out of his employment agreement, we'll call it, Jacob has to negotiate with Laban. And he does so in a way that will provide for his family for many, many years to come. He does it in a very shrewd and brilliant way. And basically, it goes like this. Jacob knows how rare spotted and black sheep are. So he goes to his uncle, negotiates a plan. Hey, in order to pay me, under a new salary structure, how about I get to keep all the speckled or spotted or black sheep and you keep all the pure color ones? Laban very quickly agrees to this because, as I said, spotted and black sheep are very rare, so he thinks he's going to make out much better than Jacob in this deal. Here's the thing, however, he didn't realize just how skilled of an employee he had working for him. So Laban agrees to this before realizing that Jacob has the skill set to breed the sheep to start generating speckled and spotted and black sheep for himself, which is exactly what he did. But before he could do it, we see another really crooked thing that Laban did. Before the deal gets put into place, he takes all of the speckled and spotted and moves them 3 miles away, it says, before the deal actually started, which immediately takes money out of Jacob's hands. It's really underhanded. Maybe you've had a boss that you've reported to that's acted underhanded like this. So now, with the deal in place, Jacob goes about breeding these sheep to create a lot more speckled, spotted, and black sheep for him than the other type of sheep for his uncle Laban. And that's what happens. His number of sheep start to grow way more than his uncle's, and other employees working for his uncle, in this case it happens to be Uncle Laban's sons, went to his father and accused Jacob of stealing from him. Hey, he's got way more sheep than you, he must have stolen these. But it was a false claim because the whole fact that they're speckled and spotted proves that they weren't stolen. Jacob kept to his side of the bargain with integrity. He didn't do anything wrong. He didn't do anything underhanded. He operated not only with the terms of the contract, but within the terms of his own conscience as well. This is such a great example for us when we work for a boss that is not a great leader. Let's just leave it at that. When knowingly working for a tyrant, what we can do is better our outcome by using our skill, by being skillful, by negotiating better networking opportunities with people above our boss, let's say. Getting involved with projects that give us more of a limelight, that get more recognition for us. Using our skill to negotiate a better salary if we can. It's not that we're trying to trick our boss, it's just that we're not retaliating against them. Maybe we're tempted to undermine our boss because our boss is such a bad leader. Or, God forbid, steal from the company because we think the company is allowing this terrible boss to get away with, injustice in our career. This story tells us a better way to approach it. Use skill and tact in maneuvering, not manipulation, not evil, not bad, not negative, to make things better for ourselves. Next in the story, we see that Jacob fully places his trust in God. He decides, now that Laban has really started to turn against him with this report that supposedly Jacob was stealing sheep from him, he waits for God to guide him, in which God does in a not very long period of time. It doesn't say exactly how long, but eventually God says, okay, now I want you to leave, let's go. So Jacob doesn't do another 2-week notice. He immediately takes his family and gets out of there. When we see this part of the story where Jacob immediately leaves, he starts telling some of the story, more detail of what was going on with his uncle. It says, in fact, that Jacob's salary level was changed 10 times by his uncle. Very unfair thing to do. It just shines more light on the fact what we can do when we're reporting to a bad leader is put our trust in God and to always act with dignity and respect, but also skill and cunning. Perhaps one of the most inspiring parts of this story is as he was fleeing, the days and weeks he was, traveling away, one of the nights an angel of the Lord appears to him and communicates something that really is something that should inspire us. Number one, the angel communicated that God knew what Jacob was going through, which means God knows what we're going through under our boss, who doesn't know how to be a great leader. The second thing the angel communicated was that God was the one who was involved in granting him the greater increase. This is something that we can take great comfort in ourselves. When we apply our skill, work hard, maneuver successfully, God will reward it. And we always know it comes from God. The rest of the story I'll leave you to explore on your own. It's a great story. It goes on beyond just Genesis chapter 31. But the moral of the story basically is this. Our own career dealings can be captured within the story. Each of us have gone through something similar with a terrible boss. If you haven't yet, you will at some point in your career. Knowing how to respond with righteousness, diligence, and trust is our calling as Christian professionals. This story shows us that success under these circumstances is always within reach. Let's just go about it in a way that glorifies God. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for 2 new videos each week. Tell me in the comments below about your career situation and I'll make a video for you with a shout out. You can also become a member at Motivationeer.com. Your career is not just a way to make a living, it's a way to transform the world.